the most talked about campaign in 2025, Sydney Sweeney campaign, back again for 2026.
They're doubling down.
They're doubling down. I mean, do you put all your chips in on, I don't know, like it'll be
It's been a crazy week in advertising this week. We got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, I mean, the Sydney Sweeney ad, I mean, we will digest that, not in a weird way, but we will digest and we will analyze and we will kind of make our assumptions on it. But look, Carson, you're right. It's going to be an absolute like wham bam show today. We've got so much to kind of go through, and I'm conscious of time. So, Carson, start us as we mean to go on. What's the first campaign we're looking at today?
Well, first let's dive into some industry news. Like
Okay.
one thing that like I've seen a ton of recently is a lot of claymation ads.
Man.
I have seen these everywhere. So
Yeah.
let me share this with everybody here. So Colin Slattery from Tycoon Digital has shared a post that he made earlier this week from an ad they made for their client, and it's claymation. And he was talking about like basically you used to have to make these ads, you used to have to pour money into development. And now, if long as you have like a cracked editor and an AI tool, you can go and make them super quickly. You know, and this is like the capabilities that AI is giving everybody right now. It kind of levels the playing field. But one thing that I think is very interesting is using the clay animation as a great marketing mix and using them for organic and paid social to be able to tell stories. Like, I think it's a great way to do problem solution. I think it's a great way to story tell if you don't want to get people in front of the camera. Do I think these are the only thing you should have in your ad account? No, but I don't think you should have any one thing in your ad account. It's a great way to diversify even more and test things out. So I'm bullish on people like wanting to do more stuff like this with AI. I think go less of the real human route generated by AI and more of how can we make cool animations and educate people that way, because it is a scroll stopper.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it is. And I think what's interesting now, and if you're managing a CMO or your performance marketer, I would be looking at any animated show and seeing there's an advantage for you guys to run it. Like Attack on Titans or anime things. Like, again, what, as you were saying perfectly, what this allows is you to target new cohorts with storytelling, right? And it's a very exciting time to be alive for creatives. But yeah, no, very well put. I mean, God, it's exciting though. Those clay ads are everywhere.
They're everywhere. If anybody hasn't seen them yet, I'd be surprised. But there's also, so for anybody that doesn't know, this is Rolex's 100-year anniversary, I believe. They just launched a new campaign for all of their watches for 2026. And they launched this on Twitter. So I'll let everybody watch it with us here. But this is the promo campaign.
I wouldn't have done it that way. I wouldn't have done that. That's not how I'd have played that campaign. I'd have just gone really into nostalgia.
So I think that is actually just to promote all of the watches in the collection. I don't think it's the main promo campaign. I think it's the watch promo campaign to show what watches they're releasing this year. I like the fact that they're just focusing on the beauty of the watches for this instead of like telling a story, but this is for just the watches themselves. It's not about like the 100 years. I haven't seen anything yet for them promoting their 100-year anniversary or any ads or campaigns for that. So I don't think this is like the piece, but pretty cool that they got all those renders and did it up just to show the beauty of the 100-year watches. Wanted to share that with everybody.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how you're right, because that's like, let's say that's just a promo video for the watches. I wonder what the kind of overarching campaign will be for them. I wonder how far they'll go into nostalgia. I mean, surely they have to. I mean, 100 years, you want to go into your history, right? I mean, God, they could have some fun. You could do some like you could do like the best watches of every decade and have like a drop. God,
well, you could also do the first watches they ever made, and if they still have people wearing them or pictures of them, working that into the story. Like, that's cool.
We've got
Rolex has lasted 100 years with this watch. But some other things that happened this week: the Premier Lacrosse League announced their partnership with Nike on their social platforms to be the provider of the player uniforms and apparel. So the PLL is making a big play here, going with Nike as their provider. I mean, I think there's a lot of brand equity now that they've got by sharing with the biggest clothing company in the world. So congrats to them. Congrats to the team over there. I know a couple people that work for them. Great league, great product, and that's super cool. And
Mm.
the biggest thing probably from the weekend is the Masters tournament. So Rory McIlroy won the Masters. Shout out to Rory McIlroy, who's definitely not watching this.
Well, hold on,
But
Brad.
there were
He's
a
on the running
couple.
machine. He's listening. You never know. You never know. He may need his marketing news.
Not
You never
yet,
know.
exactly. But no, so Rory won the Masters. He is partnered with Nike and Whoop. I believe he's an investor in Whoop, but don't quote me on that. And they each released their own, video, and then Whoop released a static of the like supporting Rory. Nike's was cool, it was just like celebrating him. But Whoop's I want to share with people to show them um this pretty cool graphic that the team at Whoop made. Rory's heart rate was at its lowest on 18 when it was all on the line, saying that he was made for this. So this was actually Rory's data from the final round. So this was first putt 117, tap in was 105, and then his celebration was 150. So his heart rate was actually at its lowest when he was doing this. Isn't that cool?
It's the great balance of how do you show up in a moment as a company. I mean, this is the best example. This is like world class.
Great example. Great example.
It,
I
fe-
loved
it
it.
yeah, it fits perfectly. It doesn't feel forced. You would want to see
Well,
this as a consumer.
and they did a great job of how they presented this. They also did another one where it was Rory's recovery, like every day of the Masters, like all in the green, and then on Monday it was like in the red. I thought that was hilarious. So that was a good way to insert some humor. So that happened. And then the last thing that I've got for industry news is we had in the running industry the BPN Go One More Backyard Ultra. So Bear Performance Nutrition Supplements puts on now annually a Backyard Ultra. And for those who don't know, it's basically what it is last man standing. So it's a 4.2 mile loop every hour on the hour. If you don't finish, you DNF, you're out. If you do finish, you have however much time between when you get there and the top of the hour to get rest or get food and do all that, go to the bathroom, whatever you need. The race ended up going for 3 days, and the winner, Mark Dowdle, shout out to Mark, completed, I believe, 306 miles. So over the course of 3 days, he nonstop basically ran 306 miles.
So I'm going to be really naive and say, how long does it take to run 4.2 miles, in your opinion? Because
It takes, if it depends, if for this race, you want to have like almost a 50-minute pace. So you get like 10 minutes to rest and recover. More at the beginning, you're probably doing like 45 to 50. At the end, you're doing like 50 to 55 minutes, maybe less if you're cutting it close.
so
The
in,
reason I wanted to bring this up as well is because BPN grew, I think it was 20,000 or more followers over the course of these 3 days from their distributions. They were live streaming on Instagram, posting on YouTube and live streaming. And, organic social was their advertising distribution vehicle to be able to put this out there. And it is crazy the amount of eyeballs that they got. I mean, I myself was more glued to this than the Masters, but I'm a big runner. And I have friends who were like, "Yep, every hour on the hour I was checking in because they streamed like the last 15 minutes for the most part. Sometimes they did like whole hours and like ran with the guys. But it was insane how well they did in terms of advertising this product through a different mean of distribution.
do you know? I'm intrigued. Do you know how many pieces of content were made during that during those 3 days? Have they got a number there?
I don't have the number off the top of my head. I think it's probably, I mean, across all channels, it's easily more than 100.
Yeah, interesting. Because it's like you. It's funny you said it because you've had Masters, Coachella, and then I know this event, the BPN event, is not the same. Gravity, but it's interesting. Completely, well, not completely different industries, but very different niches. And
Yes.
how they've approached the content game. I mean, Coachella. I mean, that's a conversation we have to talk about. I mean, who knew getting your laptop and doing a karaoke session?
Shout out to Jay Beebs, man. I mean, dude, I grew up on Justin Bieber, and that was the coolest thing I've seen. Like,
Do you know
he
why?
broke
You know why?
every record in Coachella history by a sizable margin because
But
of just the distribution of it.
do you know why he had to do the karaoke thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
Otherwise,
so
he would have had to play his label or
yeah
pay his label.
yeah he's which I think is a it's a great way to hack a system. I can now imagine every single music contract now will make sure that that cannot happen again.
I wonder if he's ever gonna buy the rights to his own music back.
I think he made an absolute killing, and now the premiums will be more. It would cost him an arm and a leg. Is it my turn? Is it my turn for some industry news?
Let's hear it, dude.
Mate, I'm going to take us all on some journey. So the campaign, of course, we're all about Sydney Sweeney's one. I think that's been the campaign of the week, or today actually, because it launched today. But I want to talk to you about two things. 1 second, let me make sure I've got it here. Yes, here we go. Bit rogue, but I think there's some learnings to be had. Dua Lipa, we all know Dua Lipa. She last month got announced as the head of like one of their head of like not a global like brand ambassador, right? And this is one of their first kind of like major campaigns with Nespresso. Carson, do you know much about this?
I do not. I hadn't even heard of this. Oh, they got Clooney in it too.
Of course, I got Clooney. Clooney's everywhere. Fun fact, actually, I have a friend of mine, a friend of a friend in London, who she woke up, went downstairs, and George Clooney was filming an espresso ad in her kitchen.
Well, that's wild.
It's not that wild. Imagine having a night out of a disgusting hangover. You go downstairs, you just hear George Clooney. Anyway, so this is kind of the CMO is talking about this on a recent podcast about how they're trying to unlock the Gen Z audience with Nespresso. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, clearly a lot of this is AI gen, shock horror. Like, what's your kind of feeling and vibes to this as a campaign? Because I know you don't know much about it, so I'd be quite intrigued to kind of get your viewpoint.
It looks fun. I haven't watched it extensively or anything, so I don't know if there's any emotional side to it, but it looks like a fun campaign and something cool. I mean, it's two famous celebrities and one of the biggest coffee companies in the world, so I'm sure they're doing numbers on it, but in terms of like actual campaign quality, I'm unsure at the moment.
Yeah.
So
But
I'll have to watch it and figure that out on my own. But I think there's definitely some fun and lifestyle aspect to it.
But then it's like you spoke about kind of Elf Cosmetics last week, and I feel like if you compared that to the Dua Lipa one, I would argue that Elf Cosmetics is probably a much better play for targeting Gen Z because with
Yeah,
Dua, I think costs. I always say to people, "What is the cost per asset?" Right? And I'm saying with Dua Lipa, how much are you paying for it to come out, do a shoot, all these things, where you could take the exact same amount of money, create a trend online, or create like a viral moment, that isn't because of a celebrity, and you can win the kind of the Gen Z conversation, not by just having a big brand ambassador. I don't know. I'm a bit
I
weird about.
agree. I think it's more original with what Elf did.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So
Yeah,
I think they've
and then
definitely went on that front.
the last thing I have was, I mean, it's kind of rogue. It's a bit of a weird one, but I think it's important, and it comes from the publication of Drum. And have you heard of the Drum?
No.
So it's a great publication. They talk about advertising, and it's a good place if you're ever wanting a bit of time to have a read and see what's going on. I want to talk to you about, it's not a campaign, but it's a very interesting use of AI, as we talked about early on in the show. It was how Lego is being is kind of is being countered the flow of Iranian propaganda shorts, which is a bit of an interesting kind of I don't really know how to word it, but I think something to talk about just from a use of AI and how it's actually being used to kind of to create stories around what's going on in the Gulf and whatever. I mean, again, you've had no context. I was going to talk about this. What's your first reaction? I'm putting you on the spot. Do not worry. What do you think?
I'm confused. Why do they care about Lego's IP being weaponized in the Gulf? Like, what the fuck do you want Lego to do about it?
Precisely. And it's like, it's just an interesting thing about creative freedom. But it was a bit of a, I just thought I'd show this because it's quite an interesting kind of use of AI and how they're using it to talk about, again, propaganda is marketing, marketing is propaganda, let's say. Anyway, that's kind of
Iran is winning the propaganda war on social media.
Against
who? Against who?
Yeah. Yep. I know. But I wanted to whack that in. It's very poor. I may take it out. It depends how we feel. But anyway,
Keep it in. I don't care.
Keep it in. Okay, cool. Okay, now we go. Wait, where are we going next, Carson?
Let's head into weekly campaign recaps.
Okay. I've got two. I know we've got the Sydney Sweeney one, but I want to show you. Have you seen the Jeep one?
I have not. I have two different. Let's see it.
Oh, mate, I've done well today. I've done well this week. Hold on, let me share my screen. You're gonna love this one. So here we go.
This
Out of
photo
home.
goes with the quietness of the cheap kid. Oh my god, that's good. Holy shit.
I thought you'd like it.
Can you send me that? I'm adding that to the swipe pile. That is unbelievable.
And I think it's a very good play to the Ogilvy ad of the Rolls Royce. The only thing you can hear is the sound of the clock. I think this is a very similar
Oh
ins
my god, that is brilliant.
There we
What
are.
a campaign.
Well, mate, a campaign indeed. So you've had a look at the image. I can kind of go into more detail now about it. Let me just stop sharing my screen. So to give some more context to the listeners, a bit more context. So this is an ad that Jeep did, and the kind of campaign is let the wild stay wild. What they're trying to do basically from the ad perspective is they're trying to do it's a smart repositioning play. It's kind of looking at the hybrid EV space and actually saying, look, what are the things you can do now that you couldn't have done with a normal petrol or diesel car? So it's not making the positioning sound negative. It's a positive thing. And yeah, I thought it was a really beautiful campaign. It was a really beautiful imagery. And I know Carson is a sucker for out of home ads.
I love that. That's a great ad for so many reasons. Like, some people might make the argument, "Oh, it's just for photographers." Dude, everybody's a photographer.
That is
And I would
yes.
be hard pressed to find anybody with a phone that hasn't experienced something like that, even if it's not for your car getting closer, like being too loud on your own and not being able to get close enough to take a picture of something. Like, it's there and it works. I think that is a brilliant campaign.
Yeah. Oh, so yes, I've done well today. I've done well this week. I've found the corker. I
Crushed
mean, I'll
it.
talk about the American Eagle one in a sec, but I know you got to do your campaign.
So the biggest one I've got is the campaign that Dr. Squatch has now released with Megan Fox instead of saying Sydney Sweeney.
Say no more.
So Dr. Squatch is
Say no more.
using Megan Squatch, Megan Fox for their first major deodorant campaign. And it's Let Your Stick Do the Talking is the name of the campaign. So I can share the campaign as well with everybody right now.
What is happening? The emotions of these ads are
It's people are doing wild shit here.
phenomenal. It's phenomenal. That is,
It's
look,
a good ad.
we laughed. There was emotion. But compared to the Super Bowl ads, I know that's not a Super Bowl ad, but that was actually a laughter. That's a good ad. That's a fantastic ad. Carson, I know you
It
got
is.
more to talk about, but tell me, what's the ad in context? It's a new launch, right?
I think it's just focusing on their deodorant now. So instead of doing their body wash and soap, it's more of like the deodorant side of things and aluminum free, doing stuff like that. I think they've got a couple more ads with her as well, but I think that's the main campaign
Yeah.
ad. But I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I think that's a very solid ad. We know in 2024 they casted Sydney Sweeney as the body wash genie. Got him a lot of flack. I thought that campaign was much less put together than this one is. So I definitely think this one is, from a pure marketing standpoint of quality of content, this is much better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's yeah. I think Megan Fox is an icon. I think Megan Fox is very iconic, and I think they've used her very well there. Phenomenal ad. So that's a great ad. I like that for many reasons.
What's your next one? I've only got one more.
So last thing really from a campaign. I mean, it came out today, I believe. It's the Sydney Sweeney ad. It's the new with American Eagle. Again, as you were saying, they're doubling down. I think the CMO of American Eagle said it was the most talked about ad of 2025. The one with before the other campaign. Great, she's got great genes or something. And I think this is a great example of, yes, it's controversial. And yes, there may be parts of. I haven't really done too much research into this campaign, but what I will say is, it's like if something resonates with your audience, go again.
Yep.
I mean, what
And if it's for the audience that you want to reach, I guess, like, it's very American Girl-esque.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So is Sid for short
Yeah,
basically like the campaign? Like, are they talking about short jeans for summer?
yeah. So they're pushing their gene collection for the summer. That's what they're pushing right now.
I haven't watched the campaign or anything yet, so I'm not gonna comment on what I think of it. I think it's safer not to. If I had to guess, it's probably a little bit more down to earth than the last one was. Like, I don't think the last one was a bad campaign per se, but I don't think it was like, it was very tongue in cheek, which isn't a bad thing. But
But this is a question that I have for you, though, Carson. Do you think controversy is something of the past, and I'll finish my thought here. Because of how fast, and I think you and I know, how fast the internet moves now, and I think we all have, folders of bookmarks of things we're meant to go back to, but we never go back to. And the speed of content and everything, it's like you could say something outrageous, be controversial, and then be forgotten about next week.
I think that's a benefit.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's a negative, but it's interesting when you think about from a like, there are so many subculture niche conversations happening all the time, non-stop. And again, that's why I really like the American Eagle campaign that she did in 2025, because it pulled the strings, good and bad, in all these different sub communities. They all had something to say. I think WPP said, I think it got 40 billion impressions overall in the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing that that happens, and I think it's 7-day news cycles, and for the honest opinion of this podcast, I think it does pay to be controversial because even if you piss off one side, the other side's gonna come and defend you.
Yeah, I mean,
You wanna divide the room like we've talked about before, and it's being in the gray area that kills you.
indeed. I think it's like, I don't know if you've ever had this, but there's a famous joke at dinner parties where the three things you never talk about: politics, sex, or religion. You always avoid them. And my view is I'm never controversial in those three. Everything else is up to grabs. Like I avoid those three because I don't think it's needed. But I agree. I think controversialness in advertising and what you stand for, and just like those parts of the world play ball.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what the City Sweeney ad does and if it can reach the heights of their campaign last year.
Yeah. So the last campaign that I've got for this week is actually a little bit different.
No.
Chili's is going to launch an immersive pop-up experience in New York tomorrow that is going to continue its sparring with their competitors like McDonald's,
Ooh.
and it's going to basically be like Chili's big crispy food court is where it's going to be, and it's going to have people serve as the jury for the chain and make its case for the latest three meal for me or three for me meal, which is now it's big crispy chicken, and they're basically putting that head to head with McDonald's, a McCrispy. So it's going to run from 11 to 5 p.m., 37 Union Square West, in a space next to McDonald's location, and we'll give attendees big crispy three for me. And then people will be able to share their verdict as a part of an integration with the Court TV, and will air as a segment hosted by Court TV anchor Vinny Politan. Yeah, so I think that's like a pretty cool way to go about things and
I think
do
I,
other
I'm,
stuff.
I'm
This is one of the images that they've got for it. Here, I'll show this real quick.
show me.
Also, shout out to Marketing Dev.
Honestly. Oh, that's phenomenal. See, it's similar to the Poly Market play, right, with the free supermarket they did. I was in New York when they did that campaign. And I think you and I are very much on the same belief here. It's like if you want to win now in 2026, it's create the cultural moment in a real life location, then have the out of home ad, then have the clipping, live stream the crap, and take that one piece of content and make it 1,000 different ways. I think that will be the play now for brands. And they want to stand out. Like, even if you've got a small budget, think of an activation that you can do that will get attention, that will then do well on social media. Have that, content native first lens to your events, to your kind of pop-ups, to your whatever. Like, it's such a win now because people are craving like experience. I mean, we're just experience junkies. And I think Chili's, that's a really beautiful that's beautiful. I'd love to see how it does. You're gonna go? You're not gonna go.
No, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
I'll try to tune into it and see what's going on, but not gonna go for it. I'm heading out of town tomorrow anyway.
Wait. You going Atlanta, yeah? Yeah, nice,
Yep.
nice.
Athens. That's everything I've got for campaign recap. Is that everything you got for that?
I mean, because well, that's kind of me done for campaigns. I mean, of course, my favorite part of the show and my segment, what ad was made 50 years ago? Here we go. Can you guess? Can you guess? It's a good one. It's a good
All
one.
right, let me get a hint though. I can't guess off the whim.
Okay, I've done some cooking because I wanted to like actually have some meaning to this. I would argue, in its time, is equal to the Sydney Sweeney level of kind of controversial and anger from the opposition, like competitor. Let's say, like similar heat.
Can you give me how long ago was this? And
75 to like it's around between 1975 and 1976. It was so good that the competitor had to change the formula of their product. It was that it piss them off that much. Okay, I'll give you some more clues. I would say,
It's not
top
Pepsi to Coke, is it?
indeed, indeed it is. Hold on.
Once you said formula, I was like, it's gotta be Coke.
Yeah, let me
It's
hold
gotta
on.
be against Coke.
Hold on. Here we go. There you go.
So this was okay. I
So
didn't even put those 2 together.
it's
Light
the
your twisted
Pepsi
salad takes
challenge.
the Pepsi challenge. So explain this campaign to me.
Of course. So Pepsi were losing market share to Coca-Cola, and they'd realized in kind of a lot of their kind of, again, at this time in the world, in the 70s, focus groups were very common. And it was clear that people would just say how great Coke was blindly. Like they would just say, oh, Coke's better than Pepsi without even, arguing it because the brand of Coca-Cola was so strong. So Pepsi realized, well, actually, let them take the Pepsi challenge. So they went in shopping malls, they went on streets, and they did the
Mm.
Pepsi challenge where they blindfolded the people, said, try Coke. They said, try drink A, drink B, and then we'll reveal which one was which. And I think it was a scary amount percentage said that, oh, this must be Coke, it's too good, and it was Pepsi. And it rattled Coca-Cola so much
Holy shit.
that they had to change the formula because they were getting that badly killed in this.
That's I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
What a cool campaign. So are they bringing this campaign back?
well, they brought it. So to be fair, they brought this campaign back at the end of, I think at the middle to end of 2025.
Okay, so right after their like rebrand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Dude, that's cool. So it makes sense that would be 50 years whenever it happened.
but
That is so good.
and again, and I think for the audience, because again, we're not expecting people to have the budgets of a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, but think of the modern day playbook of this. Think about what content can do. Think
Go do
about
street interviews for this.
yeah.
I need to call Jordan after this and tell him to go do it. Something
But
like this.
honestly, like this would be such a great and I think this is a really important thing, right? If you're really struggling with inspiration, go look at really old campaigns, understand like the core fundamental like psychology. I mean, for this one, for example, it's in a way I would say it's shock and surprise, and they've shown it. Pepsi have done this. They've turned the shock and surprise, and they've showed it in this way: the Coca-Cola versus Pepsi challenge. Take the Pepsi challenge. So yeah, that was a campaign nearly 50 years ago, which I
That's
thought would
incredible.
be.
You're on a ball. You're on the ball today.
Mate, I've been cooking. I've been cooking.
That was insane.
So my second favorite part of the show: personal insights and observations. What have we seen across the accounts? I've got a couple things.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
First of all, AI ads are here to stay, but obviously AI ads. We're now going to the point now where don't try and hide it. Make it obvious. Make it as obvious as humanly possible. They are, and it's printing. And it is printing. And I can tell you for a fact, I've been lucky to look at some accounts. They're doing really well. So really obviously AI ads. Another play that's doing really well right now is, again, shock horror. It's like third-party pages running kind of unaware ads to an advertorial landing page, then going straight to a PDP. I think what's clear to me is that brands are finding some really good success running from different pages than their main one, because some brands are a bit scared to do like really big swings on their own brand, like brand advertising account. But if you can get a third party page, then you can run some kind of ads through there, and then there's less pressure. So that's something I've seen. Other things that I found quite interesting: breaking news ads. They're everywhere right now, like breaking news X or Y. I give that maybe another month or so until people get a bit.
Yeah, I've seen those be ripping since like November.
They're still
We have
going.
we have one that's carrying in an account right now.
Still going. Okay. Well, I will. I will. Fair enough. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how long that format fatigue lasts. If it doesn't last, well, doesn't last. Right? If there will be, or will it be one of the classics to go to?
I think it's a good staple to go to. It looks organic. That's the thing. It looks so organic because you see those from media companies all the time on organic social. Like, I think that's a go-to format.
I mean,
and they're very good top of funnel if you do it right. Very good top of funnel.
I mean, yeah. But it's I mean, have you played around much with native ads? Have you seen much success from just like no copy, no headlines, just pure native ads? And the copy's in the like Facebook like section. What have you found?
Not a ton, but I will say we're not seeing great conversions with ugly ads at the moment in terms of like organic IG native style. So
Yeah.
Not seeing great conversions there. So I think like if people want something to take away from that is maybe make it more like a headline ad with like a little call out and an arrow to make it organic instead of like the text in the text box in the background overlaid stuff like that. That's what we're making a pivot to do to see if it works. So if I remember next week, I'll bring those findings back.
I mean,
But one thing that I'm very surprisingly seeing work right now,
we'll stop it.
print style ads.
Okay, interesting. Didn't you? I swear you mentioned this briefly last week. You're still
Did
seeing
I? Maybe
yes.
I did, but I'm seeing print style ads work really well. Big bold headline and then a little bit of like sub copy, subtext to explain like the product or sell people on it. But we're seeing those do well right now. So if I said that last week, apologies to everybody, but still seeing it right now.
Well, I mean, I'm in the sauce giving mood today, so I'm gonna give you some guys some more sauce. So
Go to big.com, sign up, and you're welcome.
that's other sauce. That is the big sauce, but some little sauces. This, when I say AI ads that are obviously AI, right? Yeah. I mean this. So this is what I mean. So visually hooking, so outrageous, so whatever. It stops the scroll. The one thing I will say from a kind of like a moral perspective is I don't know if this is a real doctor page. That has been a slight trend happening right now where a lot of health and wellness supplements are creating fake doctor pages.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. So if anybody's thinking of doing that, I'd recommend against it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I want to show you that. Another thing I want to show the audience, some more source. Reddit is a minefield for this one thing. Let's say, what are we targeting? What are we targeting? Let's target, I don't know. Give me sleep. Let's say we look at sleep, right? One of the best places to find really good media is here. You find really interesting kind of images that you can play with that maybe you can use for content, etc. I may have to pause and cut that out. I didn't really how bad that would be. Fucking hell. Okay. And then last thing, big.com is the best place for ad inspiration.
It is the best place for ad inspiration.
It is the best. Anyway, that is a most aggressive plug I think I've ever done in my career. I'm gonna hold that back.
Exclusive advertising's exclusive provider for ad spying.
Absolutely. To summarize what we talked about, firstly, think about how your product can show up in a viral moment. Roy McIlroy, Whoop, and them showing his heart rate through the key moments. Beautiful. We talked about Coachella and Justin Bieber, right? We're talking about how has someone countered the system. Yeah.
Another tying back into what you just said, there's a lot of people inserting themselves with Justin Bieber memes from Coachella.
Boom.
Great tie back, but continue.
We talked about BPN's big event, the runners doing non-stop running, 4.2 miles every hour until someone dies. That's not what I meant. until one person's left standing. A really beautiful moment. Again, think about the amount of content they must have made during that event. You said they gained 20,000 followers, right?
At least that's a minimum. I didn't even check what it was on Thursday or Friday, Friday I think it started. I didn't even check, and it was I think they grew at least 20,000.
We talked about Dua Lipa and Nespresso. We talked about the Pepsi Challenge. We talked about the Sydney Sweeney new campaign with American Eagle. We talked about probably one of my favorite out-of-home ads so far, apart from Carson's, of course, the Jeep one. Beautiful. They've got
Squawk.
Yeah, Dr. Squash, that Megan Fox, something about your stick, just outrageous. And yeah, and then we talked about kind of meta, talked about whitelisting ads. We talked about kind of like obviously AI ads and yeah, I mean, look, what a week in advertising.
I know, dude. I thought this was going to take us way longer than it did. We were flying through stuff, but a lot of content in there.
Mate, honestly, what a minefield of interest.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But anyway, look, I'm really enjoying this new format of the show. I think it's going to be fun. I hope everyone else is enjoying it. It does. And I need to get better at the clipping side. That's something that I'll work on. But look, it's been Luke and Carson. Pleasure, yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Send it to anybody who might like it. And we appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying this new format. Let us know in the comments. See you next week. Peace.